Alright, how's it going, guys? I'm down here where I've been getting my lava at and getting ready to move it, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys today what I've been going through for making power. So if you decide to go with lava for power, you'll see just what it all takes. So this is our lava pool. I have moved the pump multiple times, and I've now got it all the way back here, and it was cleaning up this area back here. This thing is just huge. The amount of lava that I pulled from this area is ridiculous. This kept me in power for a long time, and I've still got little pockets of it like that over there and these over here. I've actually been bucketing all of these that are below this level. I've just been bucketing them over to here, but it's finally time to actually move this thing properly. Now, to be honest, I should use a tap to pull the rest of the ethanol out of here, but I usually forget to do so. And if you look, I have no backpack, so therefore I don't have one with me. Now, the major thing that I have to remember with doing this is to keep everything facing the proper direction, unless I want to change where I have the sensors at, because as you see, my engine has its sensor on this side and the engine is the other way, so I have to make sure that it's always facing, the pump is always facing south. But since I've got all of this pretty well cleaned out, we are going to move. Hello. Why do we have a big flappy? You could just stop being noisy, you know that? We're trying to record here. Nobody wants to hear all that garbage. There's no reason for all this noise. Thank you. Rude, I'm telling you. So basically, that means that all of this, oh no, we actually have some here that didn't connect to that over there. Okay, well that's good to know. Here I was thinking we were going to have to, well, I'm hoping I can move to this one right here. So let's see what happens if, first of all, we're only moving from there to here. So let's see if we put this here, if it's going to connect, which it did. Beautiful. So now we're going to put this here, facing that way. And then we're going to, why did I do that? We're going to take this and we're going to face it that way. Pop this out of the back so it has an exhaust. Put that on top. And then connect that up there. And now our pump should be running again, which you can see it's running. Now, normally I would try to put this lower, but I want to see just how much of this is all connected on this upper level. So, and this will give me a better view of where I need to put it on a lower one. So I'll usually suck off the very, that sounded bad. I will usually pump off the top level and then I will try to find an area down lower. But if you want to take the time, you can... Well, that was a bad place to look because that's already in it. It's also a lot easier if it's not in the middle of a vein and you're going to end up with a big old mess of ore in your inventory. But you can do this and come all the way down to bedrock and very carefully see if you can find... Now that should be right below where that lava is. Yeah, that's definitely... See how this is already done pumping that? See, this is just a little pool that apparently is not connected over to that part. So this tells me a little bit more about exactly how I want to do this. So see, that's just that little bit right there. And it looks like it stops like right here. That goes there. Now, why is it... I might have to knock that track out right there, which is not easy to do unless I do this. Okay, so we've got... And I think I just lost some of that. But yeah, see, that's just cut through there. So let's go ahead and go back down here. And we're going to mine over this way just a little bit. There we go. That gives us one right here. Alright, and it's going to stop right there. So then I can do this. And we can now move our pump right there. And that should get a much bigger area. And again, I'm going to lose just a little bit of ethanol. 640 liters. But that's not a horrible thing. It's ethanol, it's renewable. I'm not too worried about it. So let's start with, let's move our, well, first off, let's get this put back in here. And let's move the engine, and I'm going to set that there, and we're going to move the pump, which may not have actually been empty yet. Got to be careful with that. If I do this that way, that'll take care of that. Alright, now we can go ahead and... Is this empty yet? No. If I use bigger pipes, it would empty faster, but it's getting there. I'm not in that big of a hurry. And we were at 101 liters, so that meant the pump was empty, because it would have 200 liters if not. So when we checked that we had how much the engine actually held, and then picked up the pump, it was empty. So it's just these pipes that are still holding. So as soon as that gets empty, which will be about a minute, I'll go ahead and move that down here. I could pipe it up to where it's at, but I'd rather not. But we can go ahead and move this down. That way the pump can get started, and we can go ahead and do this, and I'll just throw it right there as soon as those pipes are empty. And it's almost done. Just got to get that last little bit. And that's the thing with these mini portals. They work like an extension of the pipe, not like an extender. So it basically is like the pipe is going through that portal and connecting. So the network, this is not its own network, where if this was an extender, this would be a separate network. The way the portals work, this is connected to the network that's on the other side of it. So all of the pipes in the nether and all the pipes that are on the other side in the overworld are all one network. That's why it's leveling out between all of them, and I've still got this little bit on this side. So just got to wait until that gets all good and empty, and then I can pop it over there, and then hopefully all of this that I thought was going to be out of here. See, we've got this one that's still up on that upper level, so that wasn't connected. All of this cobblestone I was hoping was connected to all of this over here. And see, all of this we've already pumped out from that one over there. What I should have done was come down and see if I could find an area really close, like right in here, where I could have connected these two, and then it would have gotten all of it. But I was just assuming they were connected because of how close they were, and well, I was wrong. Be a little safer about this and close this all back off before I fall in it. This thing is going to be forever before it gets empty. We're down to 12 liters. Yeah, it will try to send to the next adjacent pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, this says 892, 854. Pop that out. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably not voiding it. I'm hoping it's not voiding it. But it's probably only a liter or two that actually tries to send to the next pipe. Alright, so there, that, and then connect it up, and you can see the engine is running. So that means the pump is a pumping. And now we're filling that line right back up. And believe it or not, even though we're only moving, what is this, bandwidth of 100? No, bandwidth of 200. Even though we're only moving 200 liters a second with that, it's still enough to keep that big boiler setup of mine running. So back to home we go. Actually, one other thing I got to do before I leave, which is really important, is I need to change the chunk loading. So we need to do this chunk, and I can't tell right now on that picture. I think I'm facing that way. Okay, I'm definitely facing this way. So we want to load probably those chunks right there. That might be enough. We'll see. But there you go. That's what I do to take care of my lava for my power. That's why we're working on that big gas turbine, is so I can have something else to sustain my power, because this gets a little old after a while. It's really nice when it's there and in my way, and I've got to do this if I'm going to clean out the rest of that vein. But it really gets old having to change that pump all the time. So lava is not the best power unless you're gonna, pump the nether. But then you're still gonna have to move it. And it's just going to be a lot longer before you have to move it. But I've done this probably 6 or 8 times, moving that pump around. Now, I could use a bigger range pump, because the pump, you have this one, which is the one I'm using. Each one of these has a bigger range. So you can use it for, if you use like the tungsten steel one, it'll do a bigger range than what this one will, a much bigger range. But you also have to be able to chunk load that area, and while I've got, if you notice my chunk loading here, I have all 50 of the 50 I can, because I'm doing the overworld, I'm doing the nether, and then the overworld down there. But we're coming back up in lava here, so that'll turn back on in a little bit. I'm actually out of power right now. We've set up so many things that are using electricity that my boilers are having to turn on and off quite often, and not making enough hydrogen to keep the cell going. And the cell's not meant to be a main power source anyways. This thing hasn't ran forever, which it doesn't need to, so that's not a major issue. But right now, everything that runs on electricity in my base is off, because we have no power, which is, like I said, why we're trying to get that gas turbine done, and why we're going to be going to EV power and EV battery boxes. We're going to have the gas powering for the most part, and then we're going to have the boiler set up as a secondary power. So as you can see, we ain't got nothing running. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick little insight of what goes on behind the scenes, I guess, while you guys aren't here. And a little bit of insight of why I'm working on getting that gas turbine done. I could set up diesel engines as well, which we will do at some point. But right now, we're full on propane. So we can't make any of the other fuels until we get that propane out. So once we get that out, then we can start making fuel, which is completely empty. We're running low on diesel, but we still have kerosene and we still have petroleum. So we could, or not petroleum, petrol. So we could set up diesel engines to dynamos, running those to make power, but I want to get the gas turbine first. Which honestly, this is why a lot of people just go with solar and just make huge ass solar farms, because it's a lot easier. But I don't like solar farms. They're too easy. This is the part of GregTech that I really enjoy. Having to manage your power, having different things making power for you in different ways so that everything works together. And the downside is that at times things happen like right now where I'm just out of power. And that means it's time to upgrade, which is what we're trying to do with the gas turbine. Which, holy crap, it has finally gotten done. We are finally done with all of those. So, let's go ahead and dump off a whole bunch of crap for the moment. Sort this all later. To where it actually needs to be. And let's go ahead and get all of these dense copper plates, or dense stainless steel plates, over here and get them into its next stage, which is not going to be able to run because, again, we're out of power. But we now need to put these in here with the number 10. If we look at the recipe for these in the welder, number 10, 4 of them will make us dense stainless steel walls. And that is what we need to make the Magnalium steam turbine main housing, which is what we need to make the Magnalium gas turbine main housing. And then we have to build the structure out of the walls that we make this with. Now, granted, Greg should change the text for this one because it says walls you crafted this with. You don't craft it with walls. You craft it with the steam turbine main housing. But you craft this one with the dense stainless steel walls, and that's what you use. So I will get this in here. Once we get power, we'll get those made, and then once those are done, we will get our gas turbine set up. So that will hopefully be in Monday's video. So I will work on getting the Invar dense plates that we need made. The power will be back up here shortly when the lava gets in. And I will see you guys on Monday, hopefully setting up a gas turbine and some EV power storage. Have a good one.